Hello and welcome to the Dinosaw for week 48. Another 7 curious, interesting things I saw last week. So let's crack on. First one is Art Breeder. Now this isn't particularly new, but I've just discovered it and it's awesome, so I thought I'd share it. So this is artbreeder.com and it allows you or I, or normal people, to play with generative artwork. So all those kind of weird generative adversarial networks and AI, machine learning things that you've probably seen and thought, how on earth they do that? Well, you can play with them. So as you can see at the top here, I uploaded my Twitter profile picture just as an example and just started playing with the little sliders, and it generates these on the fly. And if you don't like them, just keep pressing generate again and it will just keep generating, generating and generating. You want glasses, it'll do glasses. Remove the beard, it'll remove the beard. Open the mouth, it'll open the mouth. You want blue eyes, it'll do that. So absolutely fantastic. It'll also generate all sorts of things as well. So just random pieces of art. It'll actually generate album art, landscapes. Just literally keep pressing the button. It'll generate landscapes. You want more trees, less trees, snow, water, it'll do that for you. It'll generate characters and also will allow you to just mix them as well. So if you really like a picture of a dog and really like a picture of some like random artwork, you can mix them together and just keep iterating. More of this, less of that. It's really fascinating. So sign up. It's free to sign up, and if you want to pay for it, you can pay and get higher res. But essentially, just play with it. It's really amazing. Facebook research has revealed a really interesting science paper about hand tracking. So hand tracking is not new. So if you are using a relatively standard VR kit, you probably either got something that you hold in your hand, some controllers, or it's using hand recognition through cameras through the actual headset itself. That's what this does, but it actually uses algorithms to predict where hands or the gestures and the knuckles and the hands and the fingers might be, and it also is using data from where they were previously. So other models would have just said, right, this is where the hands are. This one is predicting where it might be, but also using where it was to also predict where the other fingers have gone. So it can track the sort of hidden fingers a lot better as well. So as you can see in the video, it's doing a really good job of giving a really high resolution and quick response to what you're doing as well. It's worth watching the paper as well, because they've also got this really interesting demo about how do people in small spaces walk around large virtual spaces. So what it does is, instead of, there's essentially a one-to-one mapping of you walking around a 3D space in your room, and eventually you'll bump into a wall in your real space. What they do is they sort of slightly start to bend the location that you're looking in the 3D world, so it steers you around your physical world, so you never really bump into things. It's really interesting, trying to solve the problems I didn't even think of, to be honest. So have a look at this, really interesting. There is some good news from COVID, sort of, I guess. So this is a NASA report, and they model air pollution. So they fly over all sorts of places. Their satellites can look at the atmosphere, and in this study they're looking at nitrogen dioxide. And what they're then looking at, the model that they've had running for years and years and years, what it was predicting 2020 to have produced. So all the cities, all the parts of the world, what pollution might they have produced, and comparing it what they actually detected. And what they found is the world has produced on average 20% less pollution. And it's also, in some cities like Madrid, I think it was something like 60%. So a lot of cities between 20 and 50%. So there is some good news. So it really, basically it shows you that the human pollution and staying at home, all that sort of stuff, the ratio between the two. So not saying that we should do this again in 2021, but if you're looking for some good news, finally there is a little bit of it. Yes, so this is really interesting. This is the ClearMate. This is a medical device, so this isn't something that you can go out on a sort of weekend bender and just have at home. But what this has been shown to be done is to actually remove alcohol from your body 3 times faster than normal. So as you have probably detected from somebody who has drank quite a lot, is you can detect it on their breath. That's because the alcohol is essentially evaporating through the lung capillaries. So it evaporates out of your breath, basically. So if you can breathe more, then you will actually get rid of more alcohol from your blood. The only problem is, if you breathe more, then you will probably exhale more then you're actually taking in oxygen, and you will go essentially hyperventilate. So what this machine does is it moderates the oxygen and the carbon dioxide, but allows you to breathe a lot quicker. So for people who have had an alcohol overdose, then this is a great thing. So if somebody is going into something, sort of a medical condition because they've actually had an overdose, then this can actually remove it from the bloodstream 3 times faster than normal. So yeah, interesting stuff in medical land. Honda has passed a sort of, the next step. They've been given approval in Japan to launch what is called a level 3 autonomous car. So Tesla have been doing some great stuff. That's only a level 2. So if you are driving a Tesla, you should always have your hands on the steering wheel. You should be in control at all times. This one, the Honda, is the first one that is actually probably going to launch. Audi, the A8, was supposed to have done this, but they sort of backed down a little bit and it never really appeared. So it looks like Honda are going to get the steal the march on this. So this is going to be on a Honda Legend, which is sort of a mid-sized car, as you can see in front of you. Sometime mid next year. So the point of a level 3, or why it's different from a level 2, is that for the first time it will allow you to have what they call sort of eyes off driving. So what it requires you to do is, or what it requires of the car, is to alert the driver in good time. Basically what it's called a request to intervene. So if it notices something about to happen, it will tell you, and then you need to rock up. Whereas at the moment, level 2, you need to be in control all the time. Of course, people don't do that. But this is what's got called a traffic jam pilot. So it will allow you to basically sit in traffic and not need to look at what's going on. If it needs you to do something, it should be able to tell you. I think this also only works below 60 kilometers an hour, so 37, 38 miles an hour. And also, they haven't quite done all of the cross the T's and dotted the I's yet. So they think they're going to need a sticker on the back of it, so you know when you're following one of these cars as well, because these sort of cars can react to things that humans probably can't. So you probably need to give them a little bit of a wide berth at sometimes. So yeah, Honda may well do the first level 3 autonomous car. The US military have been not caught. They've been discovered, caught, I guess, buying civilian location data. So the way this happens, and I know last week I reported on sort of the GDPR essentially being taken through the court by privacy advocates, saying, well, advertising, nobody really knows where the data goes after it goes into a system, and you're tracked through your ads. This is very similar. So app developers looking for a way to not have ads in their apps can actually install application kits underneath. So you don't see them as a user, but somewhere in the background it's doing stuff. So all those ads that you do see, it's because they've actually installed an ads engine within their app. They can do another version, which is just selling the GPS data of the users. So an American company was allowing people to install this, and of course for every 10,000 users that you gave the data of, they would give you $3,000 a year in kickback. So it's actually quite profitable. So if you're an app developer, you don't want apps, you might want to install this thing. The only problem is the US military have been buying that data. One of them, or two of the main ones, are actually sort of Muslim focused. So there's actually an app called Muslim Pro, which is it will alert you to when you should pray, for instance. So that's got 98 million downloads according to their website. So theoretically, the US government, US military have access to a huge amount of users' data. It might even be you, who knows. Normally this data requires a warrant to get hold of, but seemingly you can just buy it through these companies. So we're seeing more and more and more of these things where we're seeing our data essentially drifting out of what we might have read the terms and conditions. It seems legit, and actually we don't really know where it's ending up. So more and more of these are coming to light. US military is a fairly hefty person to have your location data. And finally, Flash is dead, so it is being removed from browsers imminently, if not already. It was going to be deleted by the end of 2020. Now, if you're a Flash developer, then how are you going to see these old games? I was a Flash developer back in the day, so I've probably got about 100 games that I've made, and it's kind of worrying me that I won't be able to see my own games unless I have some sort of old kind of weird player on my machine. So luckily the Internet Archive, who you know, you can basically go and have a look at all sorts of websites from yesteryear, and they now have a Flash emulator. So if you are of a certain age, you will probably recognise Badger, for instance, helicopter game, classic. So Flappy Birds, for instance, is nothing new. It was helicopter back in the day, and all of the other things. I mean, some really sketchy rights issues going on here, especially with Mario, and Homestar Runner, all those sorts of things. So as you just click on the link if you're interested in this, and you will go down memory lane going, oh wow, I remember that. And you can play them as well. All the audio is there as well. Yeah, Flash is dead, but it lives on. So well done, Internet Archive. And with that, we are done. So thank you very much, and hopefully see you next week.